Let me ruin your worldview in the best way possible. You've been taught life is complicated, that you need a 10-year plan, that happiness is an advanced equation, that success requires a master's thesis in hustle culture. But the truth? Life is laughably simple, and that terrifies us. Because simple feels unsatisfying, too ordinary. It doesn't stroke our ego. It doesn't sell books or fill seminar seats. So we invent noise, wrap simplicity in layers of jargon, dress common sense in lab coats and buzzwords. But behind the curtain, it's all the same song. Eat whole food, move often, sleep well, love openly, speak honestly, show up. Simple but not easy. So we complicate things. We look for 47-step routines and life-changing hacks. We buy the myth of complexity because it makes us feel like we're doing something. But what if the real complexity is our refusal to accept simplicity? Section 1. The effort paradox. Here's a brain breaker. The harder you try, the worse it gets. Sleep can't be forced. Creativity can't be scheduled. Love won't obey desperation. It's called the backwards law. The more you crave something, the more it slips away. Like trying to float by thrashing in water, you just sink faster. You already know this. Athletes choke when they overthink. Artists get blocked when they push too hard. Relationships crumble under the weight of neediness. So what works? Relaxed effort, detached action, commitment without obsession. Do the work, but don't clench the outcome. Hold your goals loosely. Trust the process. Life rewards the engaged, not the desperate. Not lazy, relaxed. Big difference. Section 2. The control paradox. Life's greatest joke? The more you try to control it, the less control you actually have. You plan your hours, structure your goals, micromanage your routines. And then life throws you a curveball, laughing as it undoes your neat little calendar. Control is an illusion dressed as security, a false sense of power in a world made of chaos. Try to hold water in your hands. The tighter you squeeze, the faster it slips through. The Stoics understood this. Two things are yours, your actions and your reactions. That's it. Everything else belongs to the storm. So shift your focus, not on the wind, but on your sail. Can you control traffic? No. Can you control when you leave? Yes. Can you control opinions? No. Can you control your integrity? Absolutely. You're not the CEO of life. You're the surfer. Master the board, not the ocean. Section 3. The brain's night shift. Ready for a quiet miracle happening in your skull each night? While you sleep, your brain goes to work. Not dreaming, not processing, cleaning. Think of it like a janitorial crew mopping up after a long day. During deep sleep, your brain bathes itself in cerebrospinal fluid. It's not poetic, it's biology. This fluid washes away toxic waste that builds up while you're awake. Metabolic leftovers, neural residue. It's called the glymphatic system, and it only kicks in while you sleep. Even more mind-blowing, your brain physically shrinks to make room for this rinse cycle, like a sponge squeezing itself to flush out grime. That foggy feeling after a bad night's sleep, that's waste your brain didn't clear, like trying to work in a cluttered room. One night of poor sleep and the mess builds. Concentration dips, mood slides, creativity limps. You're not just tired, you're unclean, cognitively speaking. So the next time you think skipping sleep is productive, remember, you're sacrificing clarity for hustle. And that's a terrible trade. Section 4. The happiness trap. Happiness is strange. The more you chase it, the more it hides. It's like a shy cat. Ignore it and it curls up in your lap. Chase it and it vanishes under the couch. You felt this. That job you thought would make you feel fulfilled? It didn't. That relationship you thought would complete you? Still felt empty. That goal you crushed? The high faded faster than expected. Why? Because happiness isn't a reward at the finish line. It's a side effect. A byproduct. Neuroscience has a name for this. The hedonic treadmill. No matter how far you run, more money, more likes, more stuff you adapt. You return to baseline, win the lottery? Back to your usual mood in 6 months. Face a tragedy? Same thing. Happiness doesn't come from achievement. It comes from alignment, from progress, not perfection, from connection, not collection, from meaning, not milestones. The paradox is this: the more you need to be happy, the less you will be, so let go. Don't pursue happiness. Pursue presence, pursue purpose, pursue what matters. And happiness will follow not as a goal, but as a guest. Section 5, your brain's hidden bias. Your brain doesn't want the truth. It wants patterns, certainty, a version of reality that feels safe even if it's wrong. Right now, your mind is filtering, distorting, and reshaping everything you see, not maliciously, just automatically. You're not a camera, you're an editor. Cognitive biases are the invisible hands guiding your thoughts. Confirmation bias makes you seek evidence that supports your beliefs. The halo effect makes you trust someone just because they look the part. Loss aversion makes you fear losing more than you value gaining. You think you're seeing clearly, but you're looking through a lens. Here's the uncomfortable truth. You judge others by their actions and yourself by your intentions. You remember your wins more than your losses. You think you're better than average at driving, at honesty, at almost everything. It's called illusory superiority, and we all have it. You can't turn these biases off, but you can notice them, and that changes everything. Self-awareness won't erase your filters, but it helps you question them. It gives you the space between stimulus and response. That space, that's your superpower. Section 6, the 90-10 emotional rule. You think you're logical, rational, in control. But here's the truth. Most of your decisions aren't made by your thinking brain. They're made by your feeling brain. Science shows it. Roughly 90% of your choices are emotional. The logic, it comes after. It's just the justification. You don't choose the job because it's objectively the best. You feel drawn to it. You don't fall in love because of a checklist. You just do. The list comes later. Your gut feelings? That's your emotional brain processing data faster than your conscious mind can catch up. Micro expressions, tone shifts, intuition. Your emotional brain works 500,000 times faster than your logical one. That voice in your head isn't driving, it's narrating the ride. But this isn't a flaw. It's a design feature. Emotions are signals, not commands. They're data, not destiny. The magic happens in the pause. That tiny moment between feeling and action. Feel the feeling, notice it, then choose. Because the goal isn't to suppress emotion, it's to lead it. Section 7. Memory is a story, not a snapshot. Your memories feel real, concrete, like files you can pull out of a cabinet. But they're not. They're stories, and you're the author. Every time you remember something, you don't just retrieve it, you rewrite it. Details shift, emotions bleed in. Your brain fills in gaps with what makes sense now, not what happened then. You're not recalling the moment, you're recalling the last time you remembered it. And with each retelling, the story evolves. It's why eyewitnesses can be wrong. Why childhood memories feel vivid but aren't always accurate. Why your version of the past is different from someone else's, even if you were both there. Your brain isn't trying to lie, it's trying to protect, to organize, to make meaning. So here's the opportunity. If memory is malleable, you can shape it. Not with fantasy, but with focus. You choose what parts of your past to emphasize, which patterns to believe in, which pain to carry forward, and which to leave behind. You're already editing. You might as well edit with intention. Section 8. The 80-20 life principle. Here's a truth that changes everything. Most of what you do doesn't matter, not equally anyway. The 80-20 principle, also known as the Pareto principle, says that 80% of your results come from 20% of your actions. The rest is noise. Busyness disguised as progress. Look around. 20% of your relationships bring 80% of your joy. 20% of your tasks produce 80% of your value. 20% of your habits create 80% of your problems. But most people spend their energy on the 80 that doesn't move the needle. They tweak, they polish, they optimize the irrelevant. Real transformation, it comes from doubling down on the vital few. Which habits fuel your energy? Which people make you feel alive? Which actions move your life forward? Identify those, protect them, multiply them, and let the rest fall away. Because the goal isn't to do more, it's to do what matters, on purpose. Section 9. Habit loops and the power of autopilot. You don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the strength of your habits. And habits aren't decisions, they're loops. Cue, routine, reward. You feel stress, that's the cue. You grab your phone, that's the routine. You get a dopamine hit, that's the reward. And just like that, the loop reinforces itself. Not because it's good, but because it works, for now. Your brain doesn't care if the habit helps or harms, it just wants the loop to complete. Here's the twist, you can't erase a habit, but you can replace the routine. Keep the cue, keep the reward, change the middle. Feel stressed? Go for a walk instead of doom scrolling. Same relief, better return. Most of your day runs on autopilot. That's not a problem. That's an opportunity. If you design the system with intention, autopilot becomes your ally. You conserve willpower, you stack momentum, you change without trying so hard. Build the loop, run the loop. Let the loop run you in the right direction. Section 10. The compound effect. Here's the math that most people miss. Small actions repeated daily are not small. Improve just 1% each day, and by the end of a year, you're 37 times better. Get 1% worse each day, and you're down to almost nothing. That's the compound effect. It works quietly, then suddenly. The problem is we look for big wins, huge leaps, overnight change. But real change doesn't come in bursts, it comes in drips. 10 pages a day becomes a library. 15 minutes of movement becomes a transformation. $5 saved becomes freedom. It works both ways. One skipped workout feels like nothing, so does one donut. But do it often enough and the results stack, in either direction. Success is not a sudden breakthrough, it's the reward of consistency. You don't need more motivation, you need a system, a rhythm, a way to make tiny choices automatic. One more healthy meal, one more rep, one more deep breath, let time do the heavy lifting. Final reflection, the manual for a simpler life. By now, you've seen the pattern. The effort paradox teaches you to release. The control paradox reminds you to ride, not steer. Your brain's cleaning system shows that rest is essential. The happiness trap reframes your chase. Your biases reveal that awareness is more powerful than certainty. The 90-10 rule reminds you that feelings drive everything. Your memory proves you're already rewriting your story. The 80-20 principle shows you where your energy belongs. Habits shape your days. The compound effect shapes your destiny. All of it leads to one quiet truth. Life isn't complicated, it's consistent. It rewards presence over perfection, simplicity over struggle, intention over intensity. You don't need a master plan, you need a better rhythm. You don't need more hacks, you need more honesty. You don't need to control life, you need to cooperate with it. Accept what you can't control, master what you can. Repeat the small things that matter. That's it. Everything else is just noise.